Hello there. What's up?
Just gotta stay out of the road, man. I
Excuse
understand
me?
you're riding your bike, but if there's a car behind you, you can't just stay in the middle of the road and keep blocking traffic.
Can you tell me what law I violated?
See, listen to me. I know who you are.
Okay.
So I know this has been explained to you before. Okay. If you're on a bicycle, you cannot impede traffic by driving in the middle of the travel lane.
Can you tell me what law I violated?
You don't need a chapter and section. If you want to look it up, you can. Okay, that's fine
Well,
with me.
I can't look it up unless you tell me what it is.
You can look it up on the internet all you want. Okay. What I'm telling you is you cannot impede traffic of cars
I cannot.
by riding your bike in the middle of the travel lane.
I cannot impede unnecessarily.
Right, but so what you're saying, it was necessary for you to be in the middle of the travel lane when I pulled up behind you.
I was not in the middle of the travel lane
Why
when
do
you
you
pulled
think
up.
I turned my lights on and stopped you? I didn't do it just because I wanted to mess with you. I did it because you were in the middle of the lane. And if I wanted to have gotten by you, I would have had to go into the other lane to go by you.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but I'm more worried about someone else not caring and just running you over. Okay?
Well, that's exactly why I have to control my space so that somebody does not.
Right, but you
buzz
don't.
me.
I deal with people who drive all the time.
Yes.
And there are people that don't care. Okay.
Okay.
And they will take out their aggression because they don't want to move. They don't want to move over. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I get where you're coming from. Okay. I understand that you want to be safe. Okay. But,
Exactly.
But riding in the middle of the lane, I heard people honking at you on Northampton Street earlier.
Did you stop them and tell them that was illegal?
It's not illegal to honk at you.
Well, yes, that's a noise violation. Yeah,
They're
you're not allowed
honking
to.
at you because you were in the middle of the lane and they had to go by you.
Right, you're not allowed to honk unless it's unless you're warning someone with emergency.
Maybe they're warning you because they're going right by you and you're in the middle of the lane and they don't want to hit you. Okay? I don't want something to happen to you. Okay?
Me neither, and that's why I am using these defensive driving techniques.
Okay. But if you know there's a car coming up behind you, say like me for instance.
Right.
3 minutes ago, okay? And you know there's a car right behind you, just move over to the right a little bit and let them by. Okay? That's all I'm asking.
Well,
I understand if there's no traffic, right?
I certainly would do that if it was safe to do it, but I'll not.
So you're saying right here it wasn't safe to move over to the right so that I could get by you without going in the other lane.
Can you show me where you think I was riding?
You were in the middle of the lane, is what I'm telling you. That's why I turned my lights on and stopped you.
Yeah,
if you
because
had moved over to the right and I had seen that you were going to let me go by, then I wouldn't have even said anything.
Yeah, because that's not my impression of where I was.
Okay, well, I'm telling you where you were, okay?
Well,
I understand you have it on video, so you could check it later to see
Right.
where you were in relation to the center line.
But either way, I was definitely no farther to the left than I could safely have been under these conditions.
No farther to the left? What is unsafe about the right side of the road here? Is that what you're saying? There's something unsafe that you couldn't go to the right?
Right. Well, see, first of all, there's a curb. There's some rough pavement. There's also motorists coming by, and there's a danger of being buzzed if you're too close to the edge. So for all of those reasons, yeah, I can't. And it's dark, so there's only so much I can see of what's there on the edge. There's only so close I can safely get.
You can't see the road well enough to ride on it, but I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say here.
Yeah, I'm saying the more adverse the conditions are, the more space I need. Okay. So because it's dark,
right now
that's another
it's
condition.
Adverse enough to be in the middle of the road.
Not in the middle of the road, no.
Okay. Like I said, man, I'm more worried about your safety. And I get what you're saying about but riding in the middle of the street when there's this much traffic is not going to be, I get you're being safe by creating such an issue that people have to see you and they have to drive around you. Okay?
That's one way to put it.
Is that right? So I get what you're saying by doing that. But the problem is that you can't create a traffic hazard. If someone goes around you and hits another car coming the other way,
well, why would they do that?
Because they have to get around you. And people do it all the time. I deal with people that are bad drivers. They're out there. Okay?
Sure, but that's why it's important to discourage people from trying to pass when there isn't enough
So
room
you're
to
trying
pass.
to block them from passing, is what you're saying?
Well, not in this case, but often yes, it's important to block people from passing when it's not safe to pass.
Right, but this is not it isn't like this is a super narrow street or anything. Okay?
That's correct.
Right.
So
there's no reason that you can't move over. I understand you're keeping yourself safe, but you can move over enough so that someone can fit a car. See how much space there is right now?
Yeah.
He's on
well,
this side.
so if I told you, I don't believe that I was in the middle of the lane.
Well, I couldn't get by you. That's why I was behind you. I didn't drive up on you and turn my lights on.
Well, in that case, maybe it is too narrow to pass under these conditions.
Too narrow to pass a bicycle.
Yeah. Under these conditions, I mean, people really underestimate.
The conditions being dark, is that the condition you're talking about?
That's one of the conditions.
What
Yeah,
other
there might be
right
less space needed in the light.
What other conditions are there right now that you're talking about?
One is that the pavement is a little rough, and there's a curb, and the width of the road is what it is.
This is a full size. They don't get much wider than this.
That's true, but the darkness does have an
I understand
important
That's why
effect.
you have a neon yellow jacket and flashing lights and stuff.
Right.
Right. So, as I said, I'm not trying to jam you up, okay? I just want you to understand that if you just moved over a little bit to the right when you knew a car was behind you so that they could get by, okay? Just so that if they don't have to cross the center line, that's all they need to get by.
Right, but I'm telling you that I was as far to the right as I felt was safe to be.
See how much space there is there?
How much?
Watch. See this truck going by? That's in the middle of the lane.
Yeah. So how much space in feet would you say that is between?
At least 4 feet, and I'm just guessing.
Okay,
I have no idea.
4 feet. Do you know how wide a bicycle is?
No, I don't have a tape measure.
Okay, so a typical bicycle is 2.5 to 3 feet while it's standing, and 4 to 5 feet when it's moving because it wavers a little bit, which means that would leave, and that would...
So you're saying your bike takes up 4 to 5 feet when you're just riding straight down a road?
Yes, and that doesn't count the clearance that you need between one vehicle and another. You need at least 3 feet under mild conditions.
Did you just look, did you measure your own bike, or is that like...
That's a typical width, 2.5 to 3 feet, and that's a AASHTO standards also. I'm not exactly sure. I would guess about 2.5 feet.
Okay. All right, man. Like I said, it's more about your safety than anything else. Okay. I'm not. Because if something bad happens, I'm gonna feel bad personally, just because I saw what you were doing, and I think it's unsafe. Okay, I get that you're saying it's your safety.
So you're saying it's safe to ride a bicycle in a 4-foot space between a curb and moving motor vehicles?
Yes, definitely. I think so. Do I think this is the best time to be riding a bike? No, but I get it. You can ride whenever you want, and I'm sure you're going far. It looks like you've been going well. So that's entirely your discretion is when you ride. But
you realize that if you're in a 4-foot space, even if I'm just standing here, right, in a 4-foot space, if there's a motor vehicle here, they would be basically right at my elbow. You understand that? And you think that's safe?
Well, I don't think, I'm standing where, you're saying that where I'm standing right now, you wouldn't be able to ride right here?
No, first of all, that's too close to the curb.
That's too close to the curb?
Yeah, I'm not going to ride that close to the curb. You're only like you're only a foot and a half from the curb.
Why is that too close? I'm just curious, why is that too close to the curb?
Well, would you drive your car that close to the curb?
Well, no, because that's the lane. There's a fog. That's why I see that white stripe that goes down on the right side.
There probably was one, but yeah, there's
right here. Obviously, you can't see it, but there's a fog line.
Right. Yeah, there is one farther on.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where the travel lane is for vehicles, right?
Vehicles, correct.
Right. So what I'm saying is, the curb, obviously, you don't want to be right next to the curb, but on a bicycle, you're not traveling at 35 miles an hour. You're going slow.
No, but that doesn't mean that I don't need a good, comfortable distance between me and the curb and between me and other motor vehicles.
Are they 5 feet?
It varies, but also there are many bicycle lanes that are not. That are not very safe to ride in. But yeah, they can vary very widely from, I mean, you know, there's really very weak standards. You can call almost anything a bike lane. Anyway, I mean, I can, if you are concerned, I would be happy to talk to you more at some other time and show you information about bicycle safety. I'm a cycling instructor,
Right.
and I teach a course on safe cycling.
Okay.
And yeah, so
Like I said, I understand your point when you're saying that you're for your safety you're trying to block traffic. I get what you're saying when you say that, because people have to see you if you're directly in front of them. I get that. Okay?
all right.
What I'm saying is, if you're driving straight down the middle of the lane and someone goes to pass you and hits another car head on, is that your fault or is that their fault?
Well, that's their fault.
But you're driving down the middle of the lane in a bicycle, blocking traffic.
Right, but
you said yourself you were not letting them pass.
I mean, there was not enough room for them to pass, so
Right.
they were not passing. I mean, you know, and in some cases, I mean, in this case it's not especially necessary, but in many cases it is necessary to actively discourage people from passing.
Okay,
in this
and I
case,
can see why maybe in a narrow road or somewhere
Yeah.
where you would. Okay, I get.
But in this case, I was right.
These are some of the best maintained roads in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Here.
So, but in this case, I wasn't doing that. I was just riding as close to the edge as was safe, which turns out not to be quite enough that you can pass without moving over the center line.
Okay.
But I was not actively trying to
all
discourage
I'm asking
passing.
you is if you possibly can, just try. If you like right now, there's no cars, so
Right.
you can ride wherever you want to ride. Okay, but if you know there's a car coming up behind you, if you can just move over just enough so that they can get by you, because
Safely.
safely,
Right,
sure.
of
But
course, yeah,
But I don't want them crossing the center line to get by you. Do you get what I'm saying? Because then it's creating a hazard for the vehicles.
Well, only if they move into oncoming
Right,
traffic,
but if that's all
which
the space, how much? If they have no room, then they're just going to drive behind you the entire time.
until they find a gap. Sure, that's the way
What
you would.
gap are you talking about?
When there's a gap in oncoming traffic,
Right, but
then you
can't
can.
cross the center line. Is what I'm telling you. The traffic doesn't matter. The center line is there because you're not supposed to cross it. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
If I
but
was standing here and I saw this car cross over the center line and come back, that's a traffic violation. Okay? For a vehicle.
okay, but so if you have one motor vehicle behind another and it wants to, the driver of the rear vehicle wants to pass,
Right.
what are they going to do?
Nothing. They're going to drive behind the vehicle.
There you go.
If it's a double line, if it's a center line like this, then they're going to drive behind it.
Right. So what's the difference if one of the vehicles is a bicycle instead of a motor vehicle?
Because a bicycle is not a motor vehicle.
Right, but they're both vehicles and they're both subject to the same rules and they both have the same rights. Right. The rules of the road are rules for drivers of vehicles, not motor vehicles.
Well, it's just the thing. This is not a motor vehicle in the state of Massachusetts.
Correct.
Okay?
But the rules of the road are for drivers of
This is
vehicles, not motor vehicles.
I know you've had this discussion with many police officers in many towns before.
Yes.
Okay. So, obviously, they're not making a dent in what your philosophy is on how to ride a bicycle. Okay? So, like I said, my only concern is that it's going to create a hazardous situation for other people. I get you're trying to be safe for you, okay? But I'm trying to get you to imagine me telling you that there are, like, let's say it's a 16-year-old driver who has not a lot of experience, okay? And so they don't understand what's going on. And so that you riding in the middle of the road causes them to do some kind of maneuver that causes an accident.
Well, I don't cause anyone to do anything. I mean, they're the ones behind the wheel.
Okay, so you're just do whatever you want to do then, okay? I'm just trying to give it to from my point of view, okay?
Okay. I mean, I
So I
understand.
get you're saying it's you said how long have you been riding your bicycle? Like in your lifetime, not tonight.
Since I was maybe 6 years old,
Okay,
7 years
so
old.
quite a long time, okay? And you said you were an instructor, so I imagine you were proficient riding a bicycle, okay? So all I'm asking you is when there's a car coming up behind you on a road that is not heavily traveled. The traffic right now is not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Just move over a little bit to the right, okay? Just so they can get by you, okay?
Oh,
they will see you. Trust
yeah.
me. You're very visible.
Yes, but they might not give me the space that I need, and I also might not be giving myself the space that I need.
So you're saying that you're one of the most experienced bicyclists I've ever talked to. You're saying that there is not enough room for a car and a bicycle in this from that center line to this curb. There is not enough room for a bicycle and a car next to each other.
It depends on conditions, but right here under these conditions, I would say no.
I know. I'm good. So you're saying in these conditions, being
yes.
dark.
Yeah, darkness is definitely a relevant condition here. Anyway, I understand why.
I feel like you don't understand.
No,
you don't care then. Maybe you understand.
No, I mean I understand where your concern comes from, but I think that you are. I think that you're not. You don't fully understand the issues of bicycle safety that I'm using. It's very common, but if you take my course, for example,
right,
you'll understand. And I'm not trying to deliberately hold anyone up. And if I can safely move over and enable someone to pass, I will certainly do so.
And I feel like you're being a little ridiculous saying that these conditions are saying you can't move over if you are as experienced as you are, that you can't move over just to let a car by. Okay? I think that's ridiculous. You can, like I said, do whatever you're going to do. But I'm just telling you, I ride a motorcycle, and I could fit a motorcycle in that space. Okay?
Yeah, well,
so
I could do it too, but it wouldn't be particularly safe.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I would have to go really slow and be just
well,
super hyper alert
this
to
car
do
just
that.
drove by with my cruiser so that there's two cars in one lane.
Yeah.
So you're saying this bicycle takes up just as much space as my patrol vehicle.
Well,
Is that what you're telling
first
me?
of all, the car slowed way down to do that. And
how fast are you going on the bike? I don't care if you make them
right,
slow down.
probably
they can go slow
15 miles an hour
maybe.
maybe. And the other thing is that your cruiser is standing still. If it was moving, then they wouldn't be able to. If your cruiser was moving at 15 miles an hour, somebody would not have been able to pass as close. And they passed way closer to your vehicle than I would want a car passing to me.
Right, but your bicycle is not the same width as my full-size SUV.
That's true.
Okay. Are you heading to my car?
I'd prefer not to talk about that.
You're going down, like, keep going, or what? I mean, typically you ride a few. I mean, you look like you've been going for a while. So I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel comfortable having this conversation right here and now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I was just curious, man. You can tell me.
Okay. I mean, if we're sitting and having a friendly chat somewhere, then I'd be happy to talk about stuff. But I feel like I'm in a vulnerable position here, and I don't want to have this conversation.
I understand that. No, man, like I said, it's not about getting you in trouble or jamming you up, man. It was more about just safety, man. Like,
yes.
So,
well,
I mean, you are very set in your ways. I understand that, and you're an instructor, and I know that, so you know what you're talking about. But
yeah.
I mean,
well, I appreciate you expressing your concerns in a polite and civil way.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Be safe out there.
You too.
Have a good night.
All right. Good night.